Chapter 06. The whole evening and the following day I spent in a sort of dejected apathy. I remember I tried to work and took up key, but the boldly printed lines and pages of the famous textbook passed before my eyes in vain. I read 10 times over the words. Julius Caesar was distinguished by warlike courage. I did not understand anything, and threw the book aside. Before dinner time, I palmated myself once more, and once more put on my tailcoat and necktie. "What's that for?" my mother demanded. "You're not a student yet, and God knows whether you'll get through the examination. And you've not long had a new jacket. You can't throw it away. There will be visitors," I murmured, almost in despair. What nonsense. Fine visitors, indeed. I had to submit. I changed my tailcoat for my jacket, but I did not take off the necktie. The princess and her daughter made their appearance half an hour before dinner time. The old lady had put on, in addition to the green dress, with which I was already acquainted, a yellow shawl, and an old-fashioned cap adorned with flame-colored ribbons. She began talking at once about her money difficulties, sighing, complaining of her poverty, and imploring assistance, but she made herself at home. She took snuff as noisily, and fidgeted, and lolled about in her chair as freely as ever. It never seemed to have struck her that she was a princess. Zinaida, on the other hand, was rigid, almost haughty in her demeanor. Every inch a princess. There was a cold immobility and dignity in her face. I should not have recognized it. I should not have known her smiles, her glances, though I thought her exquisite in this new aspect too. She wore a light barège dress with pale blue flowers on it. Her hair fell in long curls down her cheek in the English fashion. This style went well with the cold expression of her face. My father sat beside her during dinner, and entertained his neighbor with the finished and serene courtesy peculiar to him. He glanced at her from time to time, and she glanced at him, but so strangely, almost with hostility. Their conversation was carried on in French. I was surprised, I remember, at the purity of Zinaida's accent. The princess, while we were at table, as before, made no ceremony. She ate a great deal, and praised the dishes. My mother was obviously bored by her, and answered her with a sort of weary indifference. My father faintly frowned now and then. My mother did not like Zinaida either. "A conceited minx," she said next day. "And fancy what she has to be conceited about, Avik. Say mine agrees. It's clear you have never seen any grisettes." My father observed to her, "Thank God, I haven't. Thank God, to be sure. Only how can you form an opinion of them?" Then, to me, Zinaida had paid no attention whatever. Soon after dinner, the princess got up to go. "I shall rely on your kind offices, Maria Nikolaevna and Piotrova," she said in a doleful sing-song to my mother and father. "I've no help for it. There were days, but they are over. Here I am, an excellency, and a poor honor it is, with nothing to eat." My father made her a respectful bow, and escorted her to the door of the hall. I was standing there in my short jacket, staring at the floor, like a man under sentence of death. Zinaida's treatment of me had crushed me utterly. What was my astonishment, when, as she passed me, she whispered quickly with her former kind expression in her eyes, "Come to see us at 8. Do you hear? Be sure." I simply threw up my hands, but already she was gone, flinging a white scarf over her head. Chapter 07. At 8 o'clock precisely, in my tailcoat and with my hair brushed up into a tuft on my head, I entered the passage of the lodge, where the princess lived. The old servant looked crossly at me, and got up unwillingly from his bench. There was a sound of merry voices in the drawing-room. I opened the door and fell back in amazement. In the middle of the room was the young princess, standing on a chair, holding a man's hat in front of her. Round the chair crowded some half a dozen men. They were trying to put their hands into the hat, while she held it above their heads, shaking it violently. On seeing me, she cried, "Stay, stay, another guest. He must have a ticket, too." And leaping lightly down from the chair, she took me by the cuff of my coat. "Come along," she said. "Why are you standing still? Messieurs, let me make you acquainted. This is M, the son of our neighbor. And this," she went on, addressing me, and indicating her guests in turn, "Count Malevsky, Dr. Midnov, the poet, the retired Captain Niematsky, and Byalofsarov, the hussar, whom you've seen already. I hope you will be good friends. I was so confused that I did not even bow to anyone. In Dr. Lu, I recognized the dark man who had so mercilessly put me to shame in the garden. The others were unknown to me. Count, continued Zinaida, right? MC Valdemar, a ticket. That's not fair, was objected in a slight Polish accent by the Count, a very handsome and fashionably dressed brunette, with expressive brown eyes, a thin little white nose, and delicate little mustaches over a tiny mouth. This gentleman has not been playing forfeits with us. It's unfair, repeated in chorus. Byalofsarov and the gentleman described as a retired captain, a man of 40, pockmarked to a hideous degree, curly-headed as a Negro, round-shouldered, and dressed in a military coat without epaulets worn unbuttoned. Write him a ticket, I tell you, repeated the young princess. What's this mutiny? MSU Valdemar is with us for the first time, and there are no rules for him yet. It's no use grumbling. Write it, I wish it. The Count shrugged his shoulders, but bowed submissively, took the pen in his white, ring-bedecked fingers, tore off a scrap of paper, and wrote on it, "At least let us explain to Mr. Voldemar what we are about," Lushin began, in a sarcastic voice, "or else you will be quite lost. Do you see, young man, we are playing forfeits. The princess has to pay a forfeit, and the one who draws the lucky lot is to have the privilege of kissing her hand. Do you understand what I've told you?" I simply stared at him, and continued to stand still in bewilderment, while the young princess jumped up on the chair again, and again began waving the hat. They all stretched up to her, and I went after the rest. "Midanov," said the princess to a tall young man with a thin face, little dim-sighted eyes, and exceedingly long black hair, "you as a poet ought to be magnanimous, and give up your number to MSU Valdemar, so that he may have 2 chances instead of 1. But Midanov shook his head in refusal, and tossed his hair. After all the others, I put my hand into the hat, and unfolded my lot. Heavens! What was my condition when I saw on it the word kiss? Kiss! I could not help crying aloud. "Bravo! He has won it," the princess said quickly. "How glad I am." She came down from the chair and gave me such a bright, sweet look that my heart bounded. "Are you glad?" she asked me. "Me," I faltered. "Sell me your lot," Byalofsarov growled suddenly, just in my ear. "I'll give you 100 rubles," I answered the hussar with such an indignant look that Aida clapped her hands, while Lushin cried, "He's a fine fellow." But, as master of the ceremonies, he went on, "It's my duty to see that all the rules are kept. MZ Valdemar, go down on 1 knee. That is our regulation." This is just the beginning. The next part of the story is full of twists and secrets that will amaze you. Tomorrow, we'll upload the next episode. If you want to be the first to watch, subscribe now to Legend and Lore Story, and press the bell, so you never miss a single moment of suspense.